didn't really want to ad-lib, but I have to add a couple things here at the beginning, I guess. I was also born at St. Vincent's Hospital. I don't know if your father was a delivery guy. Okay, it was about 50 years ago, I want to ask you. And one of the other things that I just kind of noticed as all the different staff members are being recognized and coming up here and all the good apples and everything, how many connections that I've made in my 25 years here in the school district. And I remember when I came here to interview, I just felt like this was like family. I felt welcomed here, and I felt like this was the right place for me to be, and that's why I haven't left. I'm going anywhere. So if I could just, and this was unplanned too, if you could just raise your hand if I have taught one of your children or had them as a student or grandchildren, so Bob, you can raise your hand too. It's kind of like, it's widespread, it's everywhere. But I want to get started, and I want to thank a lot of people here today. And just know that I am really humbled to be standing up here because I know how many amazing educators there are in this district. I mean, the quality of education that our students receive is really amazing. And I also promised I did write this speech over the course of the entire summer, because a lot of it might sound like some of the restorative practice stuff from yesterday, and I was not going to rewrite everything last night. But I do have to thank a lot of people. I don't really love all the attention and everything, but I do really appreciate the honor. I am very proud and incredibly grateful to receive this honor. So I'll start my thank yous with the people that nominated me, Tara and Leslie and Greg and Marjorie, Amy Schaefer, who is just amazing to work with, and the fourth grade team as well. I also have to thank all the amazing people that I've worked with in my 25 years at Memorial. This year's going to be different, and I think the theme, especially early on, is going to be, all right, we're just going to roll with it. Because I really learned something from everyone that I've worked with in those 25 years, and it's been great. I also have to thank my parents. My parents have always supported me in everything that I've done in my entire life. And you'll hear a little bit about my mom during my speech. And lastly, I have to thank my wife, and not just because she's sitting right over there, but because I know that she's been really patient over the years. There were many, many days where I know she would have rather had me at home, but it's kind of hard to bring your lesson plans home and get that work done with 3 little kids running around. So I would like to stay after school for a while sometimes to get that stuff done. And she's certainly always supported me with everything that I've done. So I've gone around kind of in circles like all summer with what I wanted to share in my speech. So what I did is I kind of approached it as a teacher, since that's me. So I thought about what's the objective of my speech? Who's the audience of my speech? And interestingly enough, the audience there's a pretty good connection with my day job, in that a lot of people in the audience probably don't really want to be here right now, just like our students. And it's not for bad reasons. It's it's because you either had just an amazing summer with your family and you're just not really quite ready to get back to that grind yet. Or for some of us, because we're thinking about the 800 other things that we would rather be doing right now in our classrooms. Oh, times 10 this year, because I know I've seen one of my classrooms, and there's just boxes and furniture everywhere. And the reason that we're thinking about those things is because of our students, and that's why we're here. We work with children, and we share our values and knowledge with them that we're passionate about, whether it's math or anything else. I remember when I first started interviewing for teaching positions, my mom said, don't just tell them you like to work with kids. They know that. So I was like, okay. But for me, it's really that simple. That's what I love to do. And that's why I'm still teaching after 25 years. I had a lot of people over the years who said, why haven't you gone, why don't you become a principal or administrator? I said, I just like working with the kids. And that's what I thrive on. So a new school year always gives us a fresh start. And I want you to think back to why you became a teacher. I always think it's nice to hear all these things at convocation at the beginning of the year to kind of get you fired up a little bit, to get you ready for that next school year. So for me, I come from a very large extended family. My mom has 9 brothers and sisters, and my dad has 5 brothers. So having over 30 first cousins, and being one of the oldest, I grew up just always surrounded by kids. In fact, my mom would have younger cousins come and stay with us for a few days, sometimes during the summer, and they called it Camp Loretta. And my cousins who are now older still talk about it to this day. And I have so many memories from that, helping my mom kind of try to entertain them, whether it was playing board games or having marshmallow fights in the backyard. You can imagine what a marshmallow fight would look like. It was a lot of fun. Chances are, if you ask people what they really enjoy most about teaching, it would center around the exchanges that we have with our students in our relationships. So like I said, I'm not trying to steal the restorative practice stuff. I had this for a while. Although I've made a lot of edits to my speech, if you can see, even just last night. So the real reason that I thought about this speech for so long and pretty much every day this summer is that I just wanted to capture something simple. That amazing feeling that you get when you see a student smile or laugh, or when that light bulb goes on and you know that they just got it and they're so excited about it, and that you feel great. This is why what we say and what we do every day really matters. But our job is to teach some form of content as well. I don't want you to think that I'm not teaching math, I'm just a hunky-dory. What we value and we want our students to take away might be a math concept. Of course, I said that one first. A scientific principle, a lesson to be learned from history, a social skill to help our kids interact with their peers, how to play a music note, which I can't do for the life of me, appreciate a good book, learn a new language, create art, build teamwork, learn the value of exercise, or create something with technology or other tools. We want our students to learn, and we want them to appreciate what we're teaching them. The reality is that our students are not all going to be passionate about what we're teaching them, and that's okay. As my daughter would say, it's not that deep. They don't need to, and they're not going to remember everything that we want them to. The reality is that this is an amazingly difficult task to accomplish. How do we accomplish our objectives? How do we transfer that knowledge and information to our students? Unfortunately, there is no simple answer to that, so I hope you weren't hoping for one. We can only use our best instructional strategies to help our students learn. However, emotional significance can play an important role in learning, and we don't want to forget that. I'm sure you've all probably heard the Maya Angelou quote before that says, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. When students feel heard, seen, and valued, they build trust. And that trust can become the foundation for risk-taking, and resilience, and motivation, the things that students need in order to learn and grow. And certainly the restorative practice PD that we had yesterday reinforced all of that. And they had all the science and the research too. I don't really know that stuff. And I believe this is just as important as the instructional strategies that we choose. And the good thing is that's what's kind of comes easy. You don't have to think about that. You just have to be yourself and do what you do with the kids. What we do know is that every child in front of us is different, and we've already heard that this morning as well. This is why we can't measure success with test scores. When I reflect on my 25 years, the years that I was really the most stressed about test scores and trying to get my kids to that 80%, those were probably my least effective years, to be honest. Whether you have 10 students this year or 100 or more, I guess for some of you, one thing is for sure. Every student in front of us brings different backgrounds, different talents, interests, abilities, difficulties. You don't know what that child's going to do someday. I look at my own children. My oldest child was cautious and shy and quiet. And now he literally climbs mountains, and leads people down the Hudson River with whitewater rafting. It's really amazing to watch. He actually took my wife and I last year, and listening to him and talking to the people, it was just really incredible to see. My other son struggled with reading for years, and school was really hard for him. He's starting his third year in college now, and his first two, he made the all-academic team for while wrestling in college. And then my daughter, who we just dropped off last week, so my wife and I are empty nesters. And people keep saying it'll get better, but right now it sucks. My daughter used to wear this little pink tutu skirt. It's like a ballerina thing, which is funny because that's not her at all. And this pink Superman shirt. So now she is going to be a Superman, and she's beginning her college education to become an educator. So the students in front of us this year will eventually carve their own paths as well. Some of them might be engineers, or salespeople, or landscapers, or mechanics, or doctors, or lawyers, or nurses, or some job that doesn't even exist yet. AI is set to continuously transform the landscape of future employment for sure. So we have our content to teach, and we want our students to learn. But what we need to make sure is that we teach them to be lifelong learners and to think critically. There's a lot of different approaches we can take as educators. There's a lot of different ways that we can present information and share it. And looking at the time, I have plenty of time to talk about a lot of them. Because I thought we were going to be done at like 10:30, so I got plenty of time. No, I'm just going to share a couple. And this is like my favorite part, like just some of the stuff that we get to do. Like electrifying a pickle in science. I mean, what's cooler than that? If you haven't seen a pickle be electrified, you're missing out. I mean, it literally lights up and glows on one side. I know when I used to do it in 5th grade, I would even bring it home, and if we had guests coming over, I'd pull it out and get it sparking, and it's pretty cool. Other things, just a couple. I used to love when I taught 6th grade math, like showing little videos and then having them solve some problems. One of them was like the 4th of July hot dog eating contest, if you've ever seen that. And then solving some really great ratio rate problems to go along with that. And then this last one is definitely one of my lower moments, but I did sing a song about multiplying fractions to the tune of Drop It Like It's Hot. Again, that was definitely one of my lower moments. But sometimes you gotta try different things to get them, especially now. But those are the things that our kids are probably really gonna remember. And all that's, fun and hopefully interesting, but it's still not what it's really about. What it comes down to is how we treat people and the relationships that we build with them. So again, I'm gonna say what we say and do every day really matters. And it's really important that we take some time to invest in that relationship building with our students, because we're going to get better results when we do that. And again, that's the part that comes naturally. So, I'm getting there. I'd like to share a really amazing story from last year. Now, in reality, when I say last year, it's still 2025, but teachers, when we say last year, we meant last school year. So it was last March, and my phone rang in my room, and Lori Robinson was on the other line, and she said, I have somebody who'd like to talk to you. Do you have a minute to take a call? And, of course, my usual snarky response was, no, I'm working with students right now. I do work for a living. So she took a message, and then when I got a chance to go look at my mailbox and I saw who it was, I was like taken aback a little bit. It was a student that I had over 20 years ago. So she gave me his number, and I reached out, and we ended up meeting up. We had a couple of cups of coffee. And he told me that he's now a teacher. And by the way, he's not the only teacher from that class. Ben Shouty, 10 years. Ben was in that class as well. But it was really, so he's in his 30s now. And he didn't even want to call me Chris. He's like, I can't call you Mr. Knapp. He's like, it's just, you're still Mr. Knapp. I'm like, it's okay. I know it's hard. But it was just really remarkable to listen to him share all of the things that he had remembered from 5th and 6th grade. That was back in the day when we looped, obviously. But there was one thing that really stuck with me that he shared. And he told me that he remembered doing a country project in 6th grade. And he remembered it better than I did. I assigned it. But he explained that I had told the students to give me their top 3 choices, and that I would try to give them, one of their top 2 choices, hopefully. And that I had explained to the class that everyone in the class had gotten one of their top 2 choices, except for one person. You could probably guess who that person was. So his top 2 choices were Jamaica and Ireland, which are obviously popular countries. And I gave him his 3rd choice, which was Haiti. So he told me, I really wanted to meet up with you because I wanted to tell you that I'm still mad about that. Obviously, I'm kidding about that. But what he said, and I obviously don't remember this, what he told me was that later on during the day, I had come over to him and apologized that I wasn't able to give him one of his first 2 choices. And I explained to him that I thought it would be a really good opportunity for him to help the class learn about Haiti. And he said, I just really appreciated that you took the time to do that. He said, I was really disappointed that I didn't get one of my top picks, but it made me more interested in learning about Haiti. Then he went on to tell me that a few years later, he took part in a project at his church called Haiti's Back Porch, which helped get supplies to the country. And if you know, Haiti is a very poor country. So he didn't really remember all the details about the project or the assignment. What he remembered was the moment that I helped him feel seen and valued. That's what lasts. And that story was what really kind of cinched the fact that I wanted to focus on the relationships that we built with our students for my speech. Again, that restorative practice yesterday was really about how critical relationships are in schools. So at the end of the day, students may not remember every lesson we teach, but they will always remember how we made them feel. The connections that we build, the trust that we earn, and the kindness that we can show can change the trajectory of a child's life. There's another famous quote, and I think I saw this in the slides yesterday. It's from John C. Maxwell, who was a New York Times bestselling author. And this one just really hits home. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's so true with teaching. Relationships are not just part of teaching, they are teaching. They're the bridge to engagement, to growth, and to believe in what's possible. So let us continue to show up, to listen, to care, and to believe in our students, because those relationships are the foundation for everything that matters in the classroom and beyond it. Next Wednesday, We'll begin another school year filled with moments that our students will both remember and forget. Have a wonderful school year for your students and for yourself. Just keep swimming.